Kia ora. We are learning to use personal voice. What is personal voice, you might ask yourself? Personal voice is a way that the writers create music with their words, the sense that a real person is speaking to you and cares about the message that they're sending you. It's the heart and soul of the writing, the magic, the wit, the feeling. Have you ever thought when you've been reading a book or a text and you've laughed out loud or you've giggled or you've thought, gosh, that's scary or that's silly or that's funny or that makes me feel really sad? That's when the author's been able to make a real connection with their audience and their reader. They're sharing a personal flavour to the words that are unmistakably their own. Those are examples of using personal voice when writing. You can also use figurative language. Now, we've done this before in a different lesson. See if you can remember. Using figurative language, so examples are some metaphors, similes, or personification, adds a variety and personality to your writing. It allows you to explain the ordinary extraordinarily and the complex simply, unlike comparisons. So here's a metaphor here to compare two things using the words is or are. Her smile is the sun. We know her smile is not really the sun, but the words conjure up an image for you and they help you make a connection. Simile, he is as fast as a rabbit. He may not be as fast as a rabbit, but the author is trying to convey that message to you. Personification, the leaves danced in the wind. Now we know that if you look out the window, sometimes it may look like the leaves are dancing in the wind, but in reality, they're probably just falling down to the ground or the wind is lifting them off. Using figurative language. So I've wrote a little bit of text here. OMG. Gosh, if you had only been there. I mean, honestly, my cat Blue did the most hilarious thing I have ever heard or seen with my own eyes. He was sitting on the soft mat looking very cute and adorable, like he does every day. Nothing unusual there. Until he sneezed, like an elephant. My tiny fluffy Blue sneezed and sounded like he had a rocket launching inside of him. This was the loudest noise. I did a double take. I looked at Blue, he looked at me, and then sneezed extraordinarily loud. Then he simply curled back up and went to sleep. Have I used any figurative language in that text? Pause the video and have a chat to your buddy. You're correct. There's some examples of figurative language in the text here. Until he sneezed like an elephant, my tiny fluffy Blue sneezed and sounded like he had a rocket launching inside of him. Well done if you managed to highlight certain sections of that text. Using humour when you're doing personal voice, appropriate humour that appeals to the reader's intelligence, alleviates the boredom, reveals the human side as an author, and also makes them giggle or gives them a little bit of a laugh. So intelligent humour consists of being playful, using puns, wit, irony and idioms, and hyperbole. So again, we've done these before in different lessons. An idiom, it's raining cats and dogs outside. If you look out the window, it's probably not. And a hyperbole is to describe something in an extremely exaggerated way. We waited in line all day. I'm sure sometimes you may feel that way if you're waiting for something that's really important to you. Using humour. So looking at the text again, it's the same text that I wrote. Pause the video and have a chat to your buddy and see if you can see where I have attempted to use some humour and put in some personal voice. Does it look like this? I've tried to put OMG, gosh! I honestly thought there was an elephant curled up on my mat. To me as the author, that's really, really funny because I wouldn't have a little elephant curled up on my mat. And looking at my blue soft cat and the sound that he made, that to me is very funny. It's also important that you are sincere. Here is an example of a text. You don't know about me without you have a read a book by the name of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. But that ain't no matter. That book was made by Mr. Mark Twain, and he told the truth, mainly. There was things which he stretched, but mainly he told the truth. That is nothing. I never seen anybody but lied one time or another. Without it was Aunt Polly, Tom's Aunt Polly. She is. And Mary, and the Widow Douglas, is all told about in that book, which is mostly a true book, with some stretches, as I said before. Here's an example of Mr. Twain, who's the author of the Adventures of Tom Sawyer book. You may or may not have read it before. So this way, the author is breaking rules left and right here. They've got atrocious grammar, which doesn't make any sense, the way he interrupts and repeats himself. Mr. Twain puts us right in the room with Huck Finn. Simply the way it is worded helps us to both hear the accent and see the boy in our mind's eye, before ever being told what he sounds or looks like. Gives you an idea. So your turn now. Write your first 2 sentences using a pencil, and then attempt to add personal voice using blue pen before coming to the workshop. Choose one of these tones when writing. So I've got a selection down at the bottom. Test it on your buddy before you come down to the workshop. See if they can pick up that you were trying to be sarcastic, or you're trying to be frightened, or you were trying to be snobby or funny. Until next time.